The video went live at 7:30 a.m., exactly when I planned, down to the second. It spread across their devices with flawless precision. Phones buzzed on end tables. Tablets stood next to half-eaten Christmas cinnamon rolls, and the large flat screen above the fireplace flickered to life even before the first piece of wrapping paper touched the floor. My mother called first. Her voice was fragile, breaking before she even spoke. "How could you do this to us?" she asked, pausing as if waiting for a different answer. "Please, tell me you haven't shown this to the police." I didn't respond. Instead, I let the steam rise from my coffee and steadied my breath as I listened to her sobs spill over the phone. After a moment, I ended the call. Upstairs, my daughter slept. Finally, after crying herself to exhaustion the night before again. All because they called her disgusting, told her she didn't belong. They said I could come for Christmas, but not her. Not that thing she was, as they put it. When I asked why my ex-wife was welcome but my daughter was not, my father's answer was simple. "She's blood, son." That girl isn't. They knew the truth. They had to. No one makes such a mistake accidentally. They invited the woman who left me shattered, who destroyed our family, and left her wedding ring in an envelope as if resigning from a job. They welcomed her with open arms, turkey, wine, and casual forgiveness. And then they told me not to bring my child, the one who calls me dad, with more sincerity than my own father ever did. I didn't scream, didn't beg, didn't argue. I just listened as my mother's voice dropped when she said it would be simpler this way. The sound of my father's fork clicking against his plate was the only other noise, as he ate like it was just another Tuesday. My hand remained still on the table, but inside, something was shifting. Not anger, not sadness, precision. I started asking myself questions that I already knew the answers to. My daughter's medical records, DNA results, and tests from when she was born, just in case. And there it was. Not mine, biologically speaking, but I already knew that. What I hadn't known was who she was. I watched my ex-wife closely, studied her like I used to study people in the courtroom, quietly, without showing my hand. She laughed with my father in photos, clinked glasses with my mother, and hosted holiday charity dinners. She'd been back in their lives for nearly a year, but I hadn't known. They never told me. But there was one thing they couldn't hide, the date of her first deposit into my father's account. $3,500, labeled as consulting, lined up perfectly with the week she moved out. I dug deeper. 6 more transfers, private emails, messages deleted but not destroyed, a single hotel room rented twice a month. And then the final piece, an insurance document with my father listed as the emergency contact, not me. She hadn't left me for a stranger. She'd left me for him. I didn't confront anyone. I simply delivered envelopes. One to my ex-wife's law firm, one to my mother's garden club, and one to my father's Bible study group. Each one contained a copy of the paternity report. Each one showed my daughter wasn't mine, but my father's. The math was brutal. Dates, conception windows, and the quiet look in my ex-wife's eyes when she once told me I'd be a better father than he ever could be. I remember handing him the final envelope. He opened it, read it, and said nothing. No denial, no flinch, but I saw him age 10 years in that instant. And I smiled, not out of joy, but out of clarity. I filmed the video in one take. My voice was calm, the camera steady. I chose to show them the truth, not silence or shame. I shared everything, the money, the lies, the DNA. I didn't raise my voice, didn't curse or cry. I just explained it, like a lecturer revealing the final step in a long equation. "If you're watching this," I said, "you now know what I've known for months." The video ended with a picture of my daughter, her face glowing with joy. "She calls me Dad. She always will. You don't have to understand. You just have to live with what you've done." Then I hit send. One message. Group delivery. "Merry Christmas." They stopped calling after day 3. I assume they're hiding, covering their tracks, whispering in corners, wondering who else knows. I don't care. My daughter still runs to me when I pick her up. She doesn't know the full truth. She won't, for years, maybe never. But her truth is simple. I chose her. And now they live with the knowledge that I know. Not out of revenge, but because silence was never justice. And justice, once it arrives, never leaves.